Hey guys, I'm so excited about our next episode. And today we are talking, our title is How to Enter a Bikini Competition After the Age of 50 with a combination of intermittent fasting and counting your macros. So we've got Bobbi Parker-Hall. And Bobbi, your website is amazing. Tell people a little bit about you. I know you've been helping women for over 20 years and kind of getting themselves in the best shape they can. Tell a little bit, if you don't mind sharing your age and a little bit about yourself and how you got to this place.
Yeah, well, I'm 61 and I got my best body at over age 50. I had always been in fairly okay shape because I was a personal trainer and taught fitness classes. And so I knew, I had that somewhat of a base of muscle. But I hadn't really honestly gotten it all figured out until I was over the age of 50 when a friend of mine invited me to do a bikini competition with her. And I thought she was absolutely crazy. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to put myself in a bikini and on a stage, because you're basically naked in front of people. But I was at a point in my life too, where I just needed something new. I was in a marriage that wasn't working out and it had been like 30 years. And so it was coming close to an end, and it was a very depressing kind of hard time for me. But I went ahead and decided, because I felt like I needed something new in my life. I decided to go ahead and compete in this bikini competition with her. And so through that, I was really forced to face up to my nutrition and what it was really going to take for me to just get that top layer of extra body fat off for the first time in my life. And so I just really delved into the nutrition part of it, took a nutrition certificate, and I figured it out. And so I like to say, and it's true, I got my best body over age 50.
I love that.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about, so if someone, let's say they wanted to eat in from 11 to 7, right? Let's say they wanted to do an 8-hour eating window.
Yeah.
What would their eating look like? Like if they were like, okay, I need to dial in, I want to go on a bikini competition. What would their eating look like in that window?
Well, what I do with my clients is I help them figure out their macros. And macros are macronutrients that we get from foods in the form of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And so there's a balancing point and a tipping point that we have to find with people. So what I do is I combine that also with intermittent fasting. And so it's very easy to do. And so you just kind of meal plan according to your macros. So, for example, for breakfast, you could have, you just want to make sure that you're getting enough protein, especially at your breakfast time. You could do like 2 eggs and some egg whites, and then your carbs, and then a little bit of fat. So a carb could be a piece of, a healthy toast, and then your fat could be your butter on your bread. And so we just plan out those 5 meals, because that's what works for most people. Sometimes it's 6 meals, but most of the time it's 5 meals, and in between that intermittent fasting time. So it's very easy to do, and I believe it's very healthy for your digestive system to give it a rest too.
Give us a real specific, like if they were going to do 5 small meals in that 8-hour window, talk about what you would do. Like what would be something you would do? You would start off with, like you said, 2 eggs and 1 piece of toast with a little bit of butter.
Yeah. And it would all depend on what their goals are. Of course, that's what we set their macros to. So a lot of times I'll do like 1 egg and a couple scrambled egg whites with some vegetables thrown in, maybe like a healthy toast or waffle with a little bit of nut butter on it. And then
So in that first meal, how many calories are they eating with that? Like if they did 1 egg with scrambled egg whites, and then they did 2, or they did 2.
Yeah. Usually it's about probably 350 calories, for your breakfast. And then, so say an average person or a woman's going to eat like 15 to 1600 calories a day with working out, sometimes more. I mean, most women that are older, they've starved themselves, so their metabolisms are really shut down. So we have to start from a base point, taking into account what they've been eating, and then bump them up slowly, adding in exercise so that they don't, gain weight as they're upping their calories a little bit. But on average, most people are going to eat, 15 to 1600 calories a day that are my age. Some women more, so you want to try and actually get up to about 2022 if you can.
How many calories are you burning?
It depends on your activity level. So if you're going to, burn, if you're going to weight train and then do some cardio, you're probably good around 300 to 500 calories. You also have that afterburn effect a day. So, about 300 to 500 calories a day for your workout, probably more like 300 then towards the end of the day with your other activity. You want to try and create about a 500 calorie deficit a day. So, and then create a 500 calorie deficit through your food, and that equals a pound a week. So, but again, it's like five meals a day. They don't have to be small meals, but just portioned out to what your macronutrients are and your calorie range. So it's probably
so what would be an example of another meal? So like 2 eggs.
Yeah.
So the 2 eggs and a healthy toast with a little bit of butter, or 1 egg with scrambled egg whites would give you around 350 calories.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah. And then you could do like for lunch, you could do like some, healthy turkey deli or something that's, a really good brand without the nitrates and stuff like that. I like to eat really clean, and I like to encourage my clients to eat really clean and organic too. But, and then you could have like a piece of sourdough bread. And then you could have, depending on how many fats you had left, fat grams you had left for the day, you could add some like Chipotle mayo, and then like lots of vegetables on there, some lettuce, some tomato and stuff like that. So that's going to put you, because you want to have about 4 ounces probably of the turkey. So that's going to put you at around 300 also. And then like say for a snack, we could pick out like a healthy snack for you. You could have like a Quest bar, or, I have lots of little go-to things that I suggest for my clients that are like hot cocoa that's really low in sugar, but it's good for you. So you don't have to like suffer too much, without having your favorite things. Then there's like really good, I know this sounds ridiculous, but really good rice cakes out there. I love that with like, you could mix it in with some Greek yogurt, and a little bit of protein powder to give it some flavor and some texture. And then I throw berries on top of that. You could do that on top of waffles. There's just so many things you could do, for 300 to 350 calories for each meal. Then like for dinner, you could do, you could do chicken. Again, it all depends on how many fat grams you have left. So,
how much fat are you looking at someone eating in a day?
Yeah, most women. So the recommendation is between 50, I think around 50 to 70 grams for a healthy adult woman.
So 50 to 70 grams of fat?
Yes. Yeah. And what we have to realize is that fat is 9 calories a gram. So it goes really fast. Whereas like our carbs and our proteins are 4 calories a gram. So we can get more of those in. So fat calories go really fast. And you have a hamburger, like say a quarter pounder or a third pounder, you're up around 30 grams of fat already. So with the red meat. So I try and encourage people to eat like, venison or bison or, stuff like that, like a darker meat that's higher, that's lower in fat. It's a little bit leaner. So,
hey guys, I don't know about you, but if you are just feeling so tired throughout the day and just feeling restless at night, then I want you to try something called Energy Bits. Each package has spirulina or chlorella algae. They're plant-based and they have 0 sugar, 40 nutrients, 5 grams of protein. And so you are going to feel great taking them. So go to energybits.com and then you'll get 20% off if you put the promo code Chantel. That's Chantel. So explain how you would figure out for someone what their kind of overall calories that they need.
Well, usually I'll take I'll try and see have them write down 3 days of eating. Now this is hard for a lot of women to do and I get it, because you got to tell everybody what crap you've been eating. So I try and say no judgment. I do the same thing. I've had my days of crappy eating and I still have them. But, so we just try and get an idea of what their calorie range is. And so from there, I can, see, like I said, a lot of times they're not eating enough. But then when that happens, they've starved themselves. And so they reach for the first thing that's around, which isn't usually always the best. And then from there, it can just be a downward spiral, So I'll, say a lot of women are only eating like 11 to 1,200 calories. So I will bump them up about 200 calories a week, and we'll go very slowly. Then another thing you want to look at is their height, their weight, their age. You have to take all that into consideration because our metabolisms are slower. Are they in menopause? Are they premenopause? That's going to affect it too. How much have they been working out before? How much, muscle do they already have? So all of those things I factor into figuring out how much they should be eating in order to gain muscle and lose body fat.
So what if someone said that they wanted to kind of go down to, because it's funny because I've, one of the things I've done is I've interviewed a lot of women who have been thin their whole lives. And I just recently started interviewing some Hooters girls who are in bikini competitions. And these girls are probably around, like one of the girls was about 105 pounds. Like I'm talking like thin, they're in a bikini competition. But she's eating about 800 to 1,000 calories per day.
I regret that. Per day?
Yeah, 800 to 1,000 calories per day.
I don't know how she can think. And so I deal with women that are older, and, when I was younger, I could do that and lose 5 pounds in, 2 days. Right. But now once we get older, and what's going to happen to her is she's going to lose muscle too. So she's going to have to, at some point in her life, face up to that and really start eating more. Because that's just not good for anybody. I mean, the lowest we should go is 1,200 calories, and we shouldn't even be doing that because that's without any energy expenditure. So, it's not healthy, and she's probably going to ruin her thyroid. Hopefully not. But that's what happens to a lot of these girls that have done these bikini competitions. They get metabolic disorders from cutting so low for so long. It's just not healthy for us at all. And it's not a good look, really. I mean, yes, it's nice to look skinny, but, that looks really good when we're younger and our muscle tone is great and all our hormones are charging through us. But as we age, we start to lose that flexicity in our muscles, and they start to get baggy, and our skin gets saggy and baggy. And you need that muscle to pump up that skin and to give it that fullness and that healthy look. So I think too, just our vision about what looks good can get skewed so easily. It looks good to be really thin and skinny, but then as we age, I've seen a lot of my friends are super skinny. They're that ectomorph body type, and they always looked great. And I was always struggling with my weight. And now that, we're older, they're like, oh, I wish I would have worked out when I was younger, and I'm like, well, it's not too late. But the skinny look gets to be the baggy look. Right. So we want to keep that muscle on there and that fullness. And it's just healthier also.
Hey guys, I have a free smoothie book that has over 20 recipes that are super unique, like broccoli bonanza, great green smoothie, and mojito madness, and so much more. They are really amazing and you're going to love them. And the best part is it's totally free. So go to chantelrayway.com/free recipe and you'll get the book and tons of other free recipes. Or just look in the show notes and click there. So let's talk about your workouts for just a second. What is some of the workouts that you do as far as, just on a regular basis? Are you working out 7 days a week? Are you taking one day off? And what are you doing when you're working out?
Yeah. Well, right now, because I'm training for another bikini competition, I am lifting heavy. So I work with a trainer myself, and she helps me to lift, but I've had to work up to this point where I can lift heavy. So I've had, years of doing it. So I'll just go do basic resistance training at the gym, a lot of glute work. But I don't work out 7 days a week. I only work out about 4 or 5 days a week. And then on my off days, I'll try and, walk, or or some days I just do nothing, So I don't think you have to kill yourself at the gym. So you just have to be very focused and know what you're doing when you get there. And just go do your lifts. And it should take about 40 to 45 minutes. If you're working more than an hour, that's too long. Then you got to work harder within that hour so that you poop yourself out. You want to be challenging yourself. And so I try and challenge myself by lifting heavier, to get that progressive overload in my muscles so that they will grow. So that's the only way we can get our muscles to grow, is to lift heavy enough to break down that muscle. Then the muscle repairs and grows more muscle. So, but it's just basic resistance training. Right now, I'm not doing any cardio, but I'm sure I will have to start here the closer I get to my competition. But for an average, when I'm not training, I won't lift as heavy. I'm not pushing myself as hard. I'm just more in maintenance. So I'm like, 3 to 5 days a week, honestly, of working out. Not enough sometimes, but, and then I love the resistance training. So I'll go do that, or I'll, do more of HIIT workouts at least twice a week. Though those can be super taxing and exhausting too. They're just steady state cardio, so a couple days a week, but mostly focus on the weights because I want to keep that muscle. So
let's just talk about the macros for just a second. So what is the percentage of each that you're kind of looking for, and why is that so powerful for getting, really ripped?
Yeah, well, because the food is going to help your muscles grow. So, for so long, of course, it was low carb, right? And so, but now they know that we need carbs to help our muscles grow too. So a lot of times I'll start out with a little bit more protein for a person, maybe, 40% more protein, 30% carbs, and then 30%. Usually I'll do a little bit more carbs than fats too. So fats are always on the lower end. I don't really look at the percentages so much. I'm looking at the grams, but when you put them into a fitness calculator, it will come out. It'll spit out the percentages, but the protein is always a little bit higher. Then if you really need muscle growth, I will go a lot higher with the carbs too, especially in the beginning. You need to put on muscle. And then as you get closer to, say, your goal, then we'll take your carbs down a little bit if you need to shred. So, and then the fat's always in like the 20% realm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then what do you do to kind of fight some of your cravings? So like when you are like, oh, I really want this, or I really want sugar, or I really want, what are some of your go-tos that you go, if I really want something, this is what I'll have?
Yeah. That's a great question. Because, we're human. We're going to want wine. We're going to want, sugar and stuff. I mean, I am a sweet addict. I think that too, your taste buds can change if you give them different things. Like I sucker for a Quest bar, and it really satisfies me. So, but, I'll give a friend a Quest bar that has never had one, and they're like, ugh. Like my husband, he's like, oh, I'm not going to eat that. It tastes like cardboard. But for me, they really satisfy me. So I love the Quest bar. I do recommend that. And I think that they're getting rid of a lot of the sucralose that they put in them. So I don't think sucralose is good for us, but on occasion it's okay. It does mess with our digestive system, and we want to keep that clean and going. And, we don't want to lose any of our good digestive enzymes, but then sucralose can kill those. So, and then also, then there's just so many great bars out there. Some of the healthier ones like No Cow, if you don't want any whey protein. Then I also love Four Sigmatic. They are a I don't know if you've heard of them. They make that coffee that has the mushrooms in it. I love mushrooms. I'm crazy about those types of supplements. And so I'll use chocolate a lot. So I'll add stevia. You have to find a stevia that you like. I suggest only a liquid stevia because it's much better for you. So I sweeten a lot with stevia. And then I'll have a chocolate, a raw chocolate bar or something like that too. But I have, and then also, let's see what else. So the sweeter kind of rice cakes, I find I get very satisfied with those, and just some nut butters with some berries on top. Or like I had mentioned earlier, the yogurt mixed in with a really good protein powder. And it tastes like whipped, like a whipped really good pudding. So you put that on top of a rice cake, or you can put it on top of a really yummy waffle. It's just fine. So
I don't know about you, but all my friends like to enjoy a nice glass of wine after a long, stressful day. But the problem is that all these wines have so many harmful chemicals like pesticides and way too much sugar. If you're going to drink wine, you should drink Dry Farm wines. Their wines are all natural and additive free, and they are tested for purity, sugar-free, and low alcohol. So you can have the great taste of good wine without all those extra chemicals. And as a special gift, if you sign up with our link at chantelrayway.com/wine, you can get a bonus bottle of natural wine for just $1. So have that extra bottle of wine for $1. Go to chantelrayway.com/wine, or just click the show notes and you'll see the link right there. Awesome. And what is the protein that you kind of like, what's your daily items of protein that you have? Like, you have eggs every day? Do you have chicken every day? Do you have a special protein powder that you really love? Like for me, I have a hard time eating a lot of protein. Yeah. I don't love it.
I know. It's hard. It's hard because it's not like we crave protein, I mean, maybe a good steak or something, but, or Parmesan crusted chicken breast, not plain. But what I found, because I do eat a lot of chicken right now, but now when I'm not in competition training, I'll cut my protein down just to take a break from some of that stuff, like all the eggs and everything. I always try and eat things really clean and, get the best eggs I can possibly get that are, available to me. And then with chicken, I have found that if you buy the chicken that, especially chicken breast, it cannot be very exciting. But if you buy the chicken breast that doesn't have the water shot into it, that's really clean, organic, like where I live, there's a brand called Mary's or Smart Chicken. And I find that it's very easy to cook. I just bake it in the oven and put a little sea salt on it. And it's so tender and good that it's very tasty and enjoyable to me. A lot of times I'll, if it's towards the end of the day and I just need more protein and I don't have too many other things to eat, and I'll add mustard to it, that type of thing. So but there's lots of seasonings. I am not like a really great creative cook, but I know a lot of people that have come out with wonderful cookbooks for people that need more than just kind of basic foods, or basic cooking. But I tend to just stay very basic. Another thing I love is the Japanese sweet potatoes when I'm on point with my clean eating. Those are super sweet and really good and very satisfying to me too. So it's really about, and this is what I do with clients too. I help them find what works for them. Because, my tastes aren't always going to be, I love caramel corn rice cakes, or I love anything salted caramel. That's my thing. So I try and work around that and find things to substitute, like getting a salted caramel ice cream, I'll try and substitute that with salted caramel protein powder or something. But I don't really have, I just started with Protein Nutrition, and I really love their things because they're very clean. So that's about it for now, really. I don't have I say if you're going to pick a protein powder, just make sure it's really clean. It doesn't have a lot of additives to it, like, the sucralose and stuff like that. So, The best way for your body to get protein, though, it's going to uptake real food better than it is a protein powder. So I do love the protein powder because it does give you that extra bump for the day. And you're like, I'm so sick of eating meats, or I'm so sick of eating chicken or, eggs, that it's a great way to get a little bit more protein in. So
awesome. Well, tell listeners where they can find you and where they can follow you.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram. At Modern Bodies Fitness. I have a group of women on Facebook called Modern Bodies Tribe. And they're awesome. They're all like 45 plus, trying to figure it out. And they're just wonderful, fun women. And then and we love having new people join. And then my website is bobbiparker-hall.com.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, it's so great having you on the show today. And if you have a question that you want answered, go to questions@chantelrayway.com. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
SIMPRONTO Media Production.